You ever feel like the world's already made up its mind about you? Like no matter what you do, how hard you work, how much you care, you're still just a side character. Not chosen, not even noticed. It's like you're living in a world where your presence doesn't matter. And it starts to mess with your head in ways you can't fully explain. It's not like you're doing nothing. You've been trying, quietly, desperately. Waking up early, staying up late, making promises to yourself you swear you'll keep this time. But no one claps, no one cares. And every time you make a little progress, it feels like the world still shrugs. You post something online? No likes. You hit the gym? No one notices. You start speaking your mind. People talk over you like your voice doesn't count. And every time that happens, a piece of you starts to break. You watch other people your age living the life you dream about. Parties, cars, followers, freedom. And here you are, stuck, drowning in comparison, wrestling with the thought that maybe you were never meant to be great. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is, you start agreeing with them. You start doubting your own potential. You start telling yourself the same lies they've been whispering behind your back. Maybe I'm not that special. Maybe I should lower my expectations. Maybe I should just be realistic. But let me ask you something. Who benefits when you play small? Who gains when you convince yourself to stay invisible? They don't see you because you haven't become the person worth noticing yet. Not because you're incapable, but because you're unfinished. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards proof. But how do you create proof? When no one gives you a chance. You don't wait for proof, you manufacture belief. That's where delusion comes in. The power to believe in something no one else can see. To look in the mirror and see a threat when everyone else sees a failure. Delusion isn't weakness. It's how the invisible becomes undeniable. How the overlooked becomes unstoppable. How the nobody becomes him. So if you're feeling forgotten, good. If no one believes in you, good. That silence you're living in, that's your training ground. Because you don't need to be chosen. You just need to choose yourself. Be delusional enough to believe in the man you haven't met yet. Because when you do, the world won't ignore you for long. They'll tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to stay grounded. But here's what they won't say. Being realistic is just another word for surrender. And the moment you accept it, your potential dies. The world celebrates the outcome, not the belief that came before it. When someone makes it, people call them gifted. But when they're still in the dark, chasing with nothing but obsession and a dream, they call them crazy. And that line between greatness and delusion, it's razor thin. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school varsity team. They told him he wasn't good enough. He cried in his room that night, not because he failed, but because deep down, he knew they were wrong. He started waking up before school to train, hour after hour, alone in the court while the world slept. He visualized himself flying through defenders, winning championships, long before anyone else saw it. At the time, that wasn't confidence, that was delusion. But that delusion, it became reality. 6 NBA championships, 5 most valuable player, 14 all-star selections, 2 Olympic gold medals. A legacy that turned him into the greatest to ever play the game. The same kid they doubted became the icon the world worshipped, all because he believed in a version of himself that no one else could see. David Goggins was broken. 300 pounds, working dead-end jobs, spraying cockroaches for a living. He could barely run a quarter of a mile without collapsing. But something inside him said, "You were made for more." He set his sights on becoming a Navy SEAL. He had to lose over 100 pounds in 3 months. Every day was pain, shin splints, vomiting, running on fractured legs. But he refused to stop, because in his head, he already was a warrior. To himself, he was becoming unstoppable. And that delusion, it forged a legend. He became a Navy SEAL, an Army Ranger, an Air Force tactical air controller, the only man to complete all 3 elite programs. He broke the pull-up world record, ran over 60 ultramarathons, authored bestsellers that shook millions awake. The same man who once sprayed cockroaches now inspires the world to embrace pain and rise through it. Because he didn't just change his body, he rewired his mind and proved that when you believe in the impossible, you become it. And then there's Elon Musk. Back when the internet was dial-up and the world laughed at electric cars, he bet everything on SpaceX and Tesla. He was ridiculed. His rockets exploded. His companies nearly died. People called him insane. And you know what he did? He slept on the factory floor. He kept building, kept betting, kept bleeding into his vision, because in his mind, failure was never real. The only real thing was the future he refused to let go of. And that future, he made it real. Tesla revolutionized the automobile industry, now worth over $800 billion. SpaceX became the first private company to launch, land, and reuse rockets. The same man they called crazy is now one of the most prominent entrepreneurs of the 21st century. Because while the world laughed, he engineered the impossible. Delusion isn't about lying to yourself. It's about holding the truth before the world can see it. It's about walking through darkness with the conviction of someone who's already made it. Even when your bank account says broke. Even when the mirror shows weakness. Even when no one claps. Delusion is survival. It's how you keep going when nothing around you tells you to. It's how legends are born in the silence. Because every man who changed the world was first ignored by it. Every empire was built by someone crazy enough to believe when it didn't make sense. Delusion is the spark that lights the fire, the fuel that keeps it burning when no one else believes. It's not about faking it. It's about choosing who you are before the world catches up. So when they tell you to be realistic, smile, because they're just revealing the limits of their imagination, not yours. Be delusional enough to start. Delusional enough to keep going. Delusional enough to become. Because in a world that rewards results, only the delusional survive long enough to create them. Delusion isn't just belief, it's a weapon. But like any weapon, if you don't learn to wield it, it can destroy you. Used wrong, delusion turns into fantasy. Used right, it turns into transformation. So how do you use it right? Delusion isn't about pretending. It's about choosing to operate from your future instead of your past. Not based on where you are, but where you're going. And to do that, you need to master 3 forms. 3 ways to take your invisible belief and make it dangerous. Each one demands you step into a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. But if you can do that, you won't just change your habits. You'll change your entire identity. Number 1, visualizing a version of yourself no one else can see. When you wake up in the morning, what do you see in the mirror? A tired face? A body you don't respect? Or do you look deeper? Can you see him? The version of you who walks with power. The one who leads, who builds, who earns, who conquers. If you can't see him yet, how will you ever become him? This is where most people fail. They're waiting for results before they believe. But the process only starts once you decide. That man is already inside me. I just haven't met him yet. Here are some practical steps. Spend 5 minutes every morning visualizing your future self in full detail. How he walks, talks, works, trains. Journal as him. Speak like it's already real. Let every decision ask, would he choose this? Number 2, acting with confidence before the results show up. Confidence isn't a reward, it's a requirement. Most people think, once I get good, I'll act confident. No, you get good because you act confident when you're still bad. Think about it. When you walk into a room, you either own the space or the space owns you. Not because you've earned it, but because you've decided to show up like someone who belongs. Yes, people will judge you. Yes, they'll talk. But if you need their validation to move, you'll always stay stuck. Number 3, training like your future self is already real. Most people train like they're hoping to become someone. You train like you already are that person, and now you're just catching up to your own legend. This is where you stop treating discipline like a chore and start treating it like destiny. If your future self is shredded, sharp, wealthy, powerful, then every workout, every book, every project you touch today isn't just a task, it's alignment. Here are some practical steps. Design a schedule your future self would respect. Build rituals around becoming, training, studying, and building. You're not preparing for the opportunity. You are the opportunity. Most people use delusion to escape reality. You're going to use it to rebuild it. This isn't some feel-good fantasy. This is war. And your enemy? Mediocrity, comfort, who you used to be. This kind of delusion isn't soft. It's not pretty. It's earned in silence, through reps no one sees, in moments no one praises. Visualize like it's real. Move like you're chosen. Train like the crown is already yours. Do this long enough, and the world won't call you delusional anymore. They'll call you unstoppable, inevitable, built different, because you stopped playing from your past and started living from your future. So now ask yourself, if your future self could watch you today, would he be proud? Would he respect your pace, your focus, your choices? Because if the answer is no, then the mission is clear. Start moving like him. Start speaking like him. Start living like he's already here. Because once you do, it's only a matter of time before the world sees him too. Every man says he wants to be great, but most don't even know what that looks like. They scroll past the word discipline and pretend it's a lifestyle, not a war. They fantasize about success, but live like victims. So let's stop dreaming. Let's start building. Becoming that guy isn't about luck, talent, or waiting for the right time. It's about the systems you live by when nobody's watching, the private standards, the silent suffering, the small choices that feel irrelevant until one day they stack up and turn you into a different animal. It's not a secret. It's a blueprint. But following it requires one thing most people avoid: discomfort by design. You say you want to become the future version of you, the one who's jacked, sharp, disciplined, wealthy, cool. Then your days can't look like everyone else's. You don't get to hit snooze and binge dopamine and still think you'll rise. You don't get to talk like a beast but live like a ghost. If you want power, then everything must change. You must become a weapon, mentally trained, physically dangerous, emotionally grounded, and spiritually unshakable. That kind of transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens through non-negotiables, rituals you obey whether you feel like it or not. So let me hand you the framework. No fluff, no fake positivity, just the 4 layers that will separate you from 99% of men. This isn't about motivation. It's about identity engineering. When you follow these daily protocols, you don't just do different things, you become a different man. And the world will feel it, even if they don't know why. Number 1, what to think. If your thoughts are weak, your life will follow. You can't build a strong body with a broken mindset. Here's how to rewire it. No one's coming to save me. Let that sink in. You are the solution. I suffer now to dominate later. Train your brain to value pain. Attach meaning to the struggle. Every action I take is either pulling me closer to him or dragging me back into the old me. No middle ground. Everything counts. Inject these thoughts into your morning. Say them out loud. Burn them into your spine. Number 2, what to eliminate. Success isn't just about what you add, it's about what you remove. You're drowning in distractions. Cut them like cancer. Eliminate weak language. Stop saying maybe, I'll try, we'll see. Start commanding your reality. Eliminate passive dopamine. Delete the apps, clean the feed, unfollow the noise. If it doesn't serve your future, it serves your destruction. Eliminate weak environments. Stop hanging with people who tolerate your laziness. Find people who hold you accountable to your future. You'll feel lonely at first, but that silence, that's where strength is born. Number 3, what to chase. Not hype, not validation, not shortcuts. Chase identity-driven goals. Don't say, I want to read more. Say, I'm the type of man who reads daily. Chase skill acquisition. Learn things that make you useful. Study finance, study marketing, study psychology. Upgrade your value. Chase your edge. Do things that scare you. Lift heavier. Speak to a stranger. Start, fail, improve. That pressure you avoid. It's the doorway to your next level. Number 4, how to act when no one's watching. This is the final test. What do you do when there's no camera? No likes, no reward? You wake up early anyway. You go to the gym anyway. You read, you learn, you train. Because you're not performing for others. You're becoming for yourself. Your future self is watching. And one day, the world will too. But first, you must earn his respect. You wanted a blueprint? This is it. This is the process. Unforgiving, demanding, but transformational. No one's going to hand you a crown. You have to build your own throne, one thought, one choice at a time. So when they ask you years from now how you became that guy, you'll smile, because you'll remember the exact moment when you stopped waiting to be saved and started becoming the man the world couldn't ignore. They'll laugh at you in the beginning, call you crazy, say you're trying too hard, say you've changed. And you know what? Good. That means they noticed. They won't understand why you stopped going out, why you're waking up at 5 a.m., why you talk different, move different, look different. To them, it'll look like you've lost your mind. But in reality, you finally found it. And while they're busy watching your old self, you're building the man they're not ready to meet. You'll go months, maybe years without recognition. You'll sacrifice sleep, comfort, connection. You'll be grinding in the dark while they mock you from the light. They'll screenshot your failures, whisper behind your back, laugh at your goals. And you'll feel it, the pull to shrink, to fold, to give in and be normal again. But here's the difference between you and them. They need to be seen to believe. You believe before you're seen. And belief that deep? No, it's unshakable. One day something shifts. You walk into a room, people stop what they're doing. You speak, and the room gets quiet. They start asking how you did it. They tell you they always believed in you. They try to stand next to the man they once ignored. But by then, it's too late, because you're gone. The old you, the one they knew, he doesn't exist anymore. You buried him beneath the work. And in his place stands a force they can't deny. You are the story they tell now. You are the proof that delusion is power. Because you believed when it was stupid. You worked when it was pointless. You showed up when no one clapped. And now they have no choice but to see you, to hear you, to respect you, because you've become undeniable. So here's the final truth. No one's going to save you. No one's going to pick you. No one's going to believe. Until you do. So be delusional enough to see it before it exists. Obsessed enough to chase it when it's invisible. Disciplined enough to build it when no one's watching. And ruthless enough to keep going. Until the world has no choice but to say, he's the real deal.